Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. So today is the much requested and I hope much anticipated review of the Ordinary Serum Foundation. So if you want to know a little bit more about that, keep watching. All right, you guys, so I have finally received, I have something on my eye. Finally received the Serum Foundation from The Ordinary. I did wear it once, but just for a very minimal amount of time and with no primer and no nothing. And I did put a picture up on Instagram and you guys really seemed to like it. So I thought we would give it a good go. I just have my regular skincare on, and so what I'm going to do is, where is this? Okay, so I'm going to use on one side of my face my Honey Do Me by NYX. So that's going to be on the left side of my face. It's just the primer, a glowing primer. And I'm just going to push that in because this is one of the primers that I rotate between if I ever do use a primer. You know me, I'm not like a super fan of primers. And then I thought it would be appropriate to use a primer from The Ordinary, and I am going to use the High Adherence Silicone Primer. I have not even touched this, and you guys said that this one was better than the other one I tried, which was the High Spreadability Fluid Primer. Now, to be honest with you, I try is the operative word, to reduce the amount of silicones in any of my cosmetics. I am not a fan of silicone. I try my best to keep it out of my skincare especially. I was just trying this Origins Firming Nighttime Moisturizer, and I realized that it has dimethicone in it. So I was really bummed about it, but I'm really trying hard to not use any, especially skincare, with silicones. But of course, today is a different day because we are trying all of these out. All right, so what do they say about this primer? They say, let's see here. I don't know what they say about this primer. I guess I'd have to look online, but this has a bunch of silicone in it, obviously, because it says silicone in the name, but it's a high adherence blurring surface smoother and primer. All right, so let's just get to it. All right, so I'm just gonna take a little bit, oh, it's kind of like whitish. All right, and I'm just going to press this underneath my eye and all over the right side of my face. That went on very much like a cream, to be honest with you. Not very silicone-y at all, like the other primer. Oh my goodness, that one was a mess. All right, so that is on. Now, when I did use this primer before, when I did use this foundation before, I used it with my fingers. Right now, that's my absolute favorite way of applying most foundations, especially when they say like serum or lightweight or water-based or something of that nature. I think your hands are the best tool you have. But I did get 1.2N, and then I did get 2.1Y and 1.1N. I will show you the color of them, but I'm not going to swatch them because I actually am going to include these on a giveaway that I'm having on my Instagram account next week. So if you're interested in that, please go to my Instagram, make sure you're subscribed in both places, and you'll hear a lot about it. All right, so it's going to be a good one, you guys. All right, so that's 2Y or 2.1Y. And then the other one is quite much lighter, and that's 1.1. I was on the waiting list for this so long. Literally, I think it's been almost 2 months. All right, so here's mine. Again, I'm in 1.2N. The yellow ones, or the one with the Y, says or looks in the pictures all really yellow. So I went for N, which means neutral, but look how yellow that is already. I mean, it is pretty yellow. So I am going to start by applying it with my fingers all over the skin, and then I'm going to use a beauty blender and see if that has any kind of difference. All right, so this foundation, even though it says serum in the name, does not feel like a serum. This feels like a mousse texture, like a moussier texture. It is an interesting formula. So when I wore it one time, I noticed that it is pretty matte on the skin. I know it's supposed to be lightweight and all of that goodness, but it is quite matte. So people with oilier skin might really love the texture, but for me, it's a lot more matte than I really want it to be. So that was one pump with my hands, and I don't know, it's sitting in my pores on this side without the silicone primer, and on this side it actually looks a lot better. A lot better. It's a lot smoother. Up above my lip though is really having some issues. Okay, let's apply some with my Beauty Blender, or not really, it's the L'Oreal sponge, to my forehead and see if the hydration from the, or moisture from the blender adds anything or looks better. Okay, let's see. Okay, so that, in my opinion, looks way better. Do you see how the skin still has luminosity up here? And the skin doesn't have like a ton of luminosity down here. So let's see what it looks like with the blender on the rest of the face. I definitely would say that this is not a light coverage. This is definitely a light to medium coverage. Obviously, as any foundation would obviously be however much you want to put on is the coverage that you get. But this is definitely not one of those that like, oh, it's super lightweight, like the Makeup Forever Water Blend foundation or anything like that, even though we can build that up. This is I would say probably a medium coverage. All right, so to me, that's probably all I want to apply. And it's a touch light for me, but that's okay. We can adjust that very easily. All right, so I am going to say that the silicone primer side looks a lot better as far as pores and that type of thing. But when I touch it, the foundation actually moves a little bit. All right. I'm going to reserve judgment until I have everything on. But just so you guys can see, what do you guys think? I mean, it's pretty. I'm not saying it's not pretty. I'm just saying that I don't know if I really loved the texture of it. But definitely with the primer, with the silicone primer, looks way better than the other side with just a traditional primer. Okay, so I am going to just do one more pump, and I just want to add a little bit more coverage right here. Okay, and I do like the sponge a lot better than my hands, and I'm not going to try it with a brush because a brush is not going to add any hydration to the foundation, which for me, I need. It looks so much better than the first time I tried it with just my hands. So if you have more oily skin, it probably would apply beautifully with a brush. All right, so I'm just going to finish up my makeup and I'll be right back. All right, you guys, so the makeup is on. I don't know. I'm going to set it one more time with my Marc Jacobs setting spray. Okay, so the makeup did go on really nicely over it. I'll tell you what I have on. I have my Confidence in Your Glow. This is the, maybe it's just called Confidence in Your Glow on my cheeks. I have the Too Faced palette on my eyes. I have the Urban Decay Liquid Aura right here. And then I also have the new Kevyn Aucoin highlighter. Of course, on my lips, my favorite combo, which is the Hepburn Honey and the Kevyn Aucoin Lip Topper Thingy-Majiggy in Titanium. Dior new mascara, which I love, and some brows and all that. Now, I did powder the face. just a little bit with the Makeup Forever clear or translucent setting powder, which I really like. But I'm going to tell you my first impression of the foundation is I don't hate it, but I'm not like super into the finish of it. Does that make sense? It feels really lightweight on the skin. It doesn't have to say that it has like it sets or anything like that, but it definitely doesn't feel tacky or sticky or heavy or anything like that. I just don't know how this would do if you were really dry. I do think that this foundation would be beautiful for normal to oilier skin types, but let's just see how it holds up. Again, it's not full coverage, but it's not light coverage by any means. But I did definitely have to do some finagling as far as this glow that is kind of coming up around my face. I had to set my face with the Marc Jacobs setting spray twice, and I have quite a bit of highlighter on, and you can barely see it because the foundation itself is so matte. So it's definitely not a serum foundation. I don't quite know why they would call it a serum foundation, but I am on the waiting list still for the full coverage, so we'll see whenever that comes in. But let's go and look at real light, and I'll be right back. All right, you guys, so here is the foundation in real light. It's been on for about a half an hour now. Nothing has moved. It's really light. Again, we're gonna see how it wears, but I don't know why, but I feel like it's not gonna be one of those. All right, so sorry about that. I had to close my door. But anyway, I don't know if it's going to be one of those that I reach for all the time because it has no glow to it. To me, it doesn't look like skin. And I don't know. You let me know what you guys think. Again, let's see how it wears throughout the day, but we'll see. All right, I'll see you guys soon. Bye. Hi you guys, so it is at about hour 5 right now. I'm going to try to do another check-in tonight after I get back from having a little play date with my daughter and a friend, but I am not loving this foundation. I really want to put more like of a hydrating spray on my face. I think it looks good on camera, but when you look up at close, I don't know if I can do it, if it'll do. Do you see how dry it looks? It's literally like showing all of my, I don't even have texture right here, but it's just like, it's just dry. It feels really dry to the touch. I don't feel like it is luminous on my skin at all. I do think the coverage is really pretty. It is so lightweight. Like I really don't feel like I have very much on. It's not really coming off of anything, so it must have some sort of setting, I guess, mechanism, you would say, in it, because I don't have very much powder on at all. But I am not a super fan of it, but for $7 or whatever it is, $8, it's a really good foundation. I just think that it's geared more towards oily combination skin. I bet you guys that have a skin type like that would really enjoy this foundation because your natural oils would give it some luminosity. I do want to play with this foundation and add an oil to it and see what happens and see if that kind of, you know, rectifies the problem of it being so dry, but and it feels really tight on my skin. I don't know, I've never really had a foundation feel this way. It does photograph really beautifully. There is no SPF in it, so it does photograph really great. I've taken a couple photos in it and put them on my Instagram, and I think they look really pretty because I don't, you know, there's no weird editing to them. But yeah, so that's kind of where I'm feeling right now. Honestly, it looks the same as when I put it on, except for on my nose because I have allergies and I touch my nose all the time, but it has not moved. So there are some pros and cons to this foundation for sure. I just like a foundation to be a little bit more glowy. I don't like how it feels like it's showing my skin, like the texture of my skin. But yeah, so let's see what it looks like in a few hours from now. Let's see if it looks any better. But definitely on the train of this is for somebody with more hydration to their skin naturally. And I have pretty normal skin with all the great skincare that I'm using now. So it's just interesting that it is affecting my skin this way. I mean, look, let's see if you guys can see on my forehead. Do you see how it's just kind of, I don't know, it's just grabbing at like my aging skin, I feel like. Anyway, not to ramble anymore. I will see you guys in a little bit. Bye. Hey you guys, so it is the end of the night, and it's been on my foundation for about 9 to 10 hours, and I really wish I had better things to say. I feel kind of bad because I do, you know, as you know on my channel, I don't love to say negative things. If I don't say anything at all, that's just your key. But you guys have really requested this video, and I really want to give you honest feedback. It has totally broken up all over here, all over my chin, my lip. It's like gotten these fine points, like it looks like almost like pointillism. I'm sure you guys can see it. Let's see if I can do this. Oh, it's not gonna focus. Okay, anyway, it's just not my favorite thing. Hour 1 and 2 looked fantastic, but in my opinion, no matter the primer I used on either side, it did not help. It definitely helped whenever it first went on, but that's basically it. So I am so sorry, but this foundation is not something that I would, you know, recommend. I have done enough drugstore foundation reviews in my Foundation Fridays that are way better and equal price for what it is. So I'm so sorry, but this is not my favorite foundation. But I urge other people to try it, give me feedback. You can tell this is, again, like I said, 9-10 hours later, and there is zero luminosity to my skin, zero. So if you guys have had better you know, experience with this, please comment below, because I love this community. I love that there's a difference in opinion. That's what makes this amazing. So it might work for some people, it might not work for others. Obviously it did not work for me, so I'm a little bummed, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles, I guess what they say. So anyway, please hit that subscription button, hit the little bell button so you guys can be notified whenever I put up new videos, and I hope to see you guys on the next one. Lots of love from me to you. Bye, you guys.